I'm Chris P, and a couple years ago I decided to get together with some artist friends and record our conversations while we draw, maybe have a couple drinks or two. It's probably not funny, the audio quality's not so great, we broke the 180 rule and had to flip the master shot, but if you like listening to artists talk about drawing and shit that happened to them, then maybe this is for you. It's called The Tongue and Pencil. This is another edition, another episode, whatever we're calling this, of The Tongue and Pencil. I'd like to welcome Neckface here, a badass artist. This is a thing where we draw and we bullshit, and it's an experiment.
Draw, drink, and bullshit.
Exactly. So
TDB.
There you go. So
you know, tongue's like the worst. If you ask someone to spell tongue, that's like the word that no one knows how to spell.
Really?
T-O-N-G-U-E.
Yeah.
People are T-O-N-G. Like tongue is like...
Nobody knows how to spell tongue.
No one knows how to spell tongue.
That's an interesting fact. I'm going to have to remember that shit for the future.
But I do.
Yeah, you know how to spell it. You draw a lot of tongues?
Yeah, actually.
Right on.
I do.
What's your theory on tongue drawing? You have like a process that you go through when you draw tongues?
It's gotta be nasty.
Yeah.
It's gotta be grimy. Like, it's gotta have bumps on it.
I was going to say,
you know,
bumps,
like...
You know, gotta have the
a tongue's not a pretty thing.
Yeah.
At least in my eyes, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, it's gotta be nasty.
Yeah.
'Cause those are the only tongues I see. At least.
Yeah. Sometimes I see like pictures on the internet of people with like fucked up tongues where they're like all cracked and split up. It looks like painful as shit. Like I saw one the other day. It's like, I bit my tongue in half. And it was true. The guy bit his tongue in half. I don't know how you...
And that's like the fastest healing thing in your body too.
Is it?
I think so, yeah.
You know a lot about tongues.
Yep.
That's good. I usually ask people like a little bit about their history. So you're from like Stockton? Is that true?
Yeah.
Right on. What's Stockton like?
Let's put it this way: it's one of the top 5 most miserable cities in the U.S.
Yeah.
Largest city to go bankrupt. It's pretty shitty. It's really shitty. And it's like, you know, a lot of people are like, don't talk about your town like that, whatever, but you can't sugarcoat it, you know what I mean? It's like, it's shitty as fuck. But it's like, I'm glad I grew up there, you know? It's like, as much as it sucks, you know, it's like, I'm glad I grew up there because it made me who I am.
Yeah.
As in, like, it was so whack that I was like, man, I gotta, you know, I couldn't physically like leave, you know, so it was like I had to draw myself out of there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like create my own fucking situations and just get out of there like mentally, you know. I was still there, but I was like, you know, always like creating my own world, like where I wanted to be, like, you know, where I wanted to like take off. And it's like a lot of people are like, man, I grew up in the ghetto, I did this and that. It's like, it sucks, but it's like, you should be psyched. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if you grew up with a silver spoon in your mouth the whole time, you wouldn't be doing shit.
Yeah.
You know, like, when you grow up in a bad neighborhood or a bad town or whatever, you want to get out of there.
Yeah.
So that makes, I think, creativity where you just like, fuck this place, I want to get out of here, even if you're like trying to get out of there like physically or mentally, you know?
Yeah, I could dig it. I was born in Trenton, New Jersey, and I think that's pretty high up there on like the shittiest towns in America list.
Yeah.
I know it's like Newark, Trenton, and Camden are always on those lists in New Jersey, so I get it, dude.
I got a funny story about Newark.
Oh yeah?
My friend Teddy, he's in a band, he's a black guy, and he has 3 white people with him in the band, right?
Yeah.
And he's from Jersey. He's from Jersey City.
Oh, I live in Jersey City. I know what that's like too.
They were gonna go play a show in Newark.
All right.
And they show up to this venue in Newark, and it's him and three white people.
Yeah.
Then they roll up to the venue, they get out of the car, and there's this homeless guy, and he has a shopping cart. And right when they come out, he's like looking at, the homeless guy looks at him, he saw the 3 white people, he was like, y'all better get the fuck out of here.
That's funny.
That shit is funny.
So what'd they do?
Teddy was like, man, I'm from here. What are you talking about? But he was just like, the dude was looking out for the white guys. Just like, y'all better get the fuck out of here.
So when did you get out of Stockton then?
I took off when I was 17.
Gotcha.
And
what got you out of there?
my destiny was already like laid out in front of me, you know what I mean? My dad owns a tire shop.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, you're working. All my brothers worked at my dad's tire shop. Gotcha. So it was like, I didn't give a fuck about school. I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna end up working at my dad's tire shop. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, no college, nothing.
Yeah.
And then I was always drawing and, you know, doing my own thing and painting and shit. And my brother's girlfriend was like, you should go to art school. And I was like, what the fuck's art school? And she told me what it was. I was like, I could go to a school and be drawing and not get yelled at?
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, I was tripping, you know, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And so yeah, she was like, yeah, you can go to college. And I was like, all right. She's like, you gotta make a portfolio. And I already had like a bunch of shit made and stuff, just like, cause I've just been doing this forever, you know?
Yeah.
So she was like, yeah, you could, whatever. And I was like, all right, I'll try it out. And so I made this portfolio, like what they needed and stuff. And then I applied to SVA and Cal Arts.
Yeah.
Because those were the only schools that accepted late, whatever the fuck, and didn't care about the SAT scores.
Yeah.
And the SATs, I had the worst scores ever. So yeah, I applied and I got accepted to New York, to SVA in New York. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to New York. And the day I was leaving, I got accepted to Cal Arts too. I was like, damn, you guys are too late. Like, I'm already out. So I flew to New York, didn't know anybody there. In the air, I turned 18 years old. So I left 17 years old and I landed at 18-year-old. And then so I got to New York and didn't know anything or anybody or nothing. And I was like, all right, let's do this. And so my whole thing was, like, I'm a skateboarder, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna go skate to all these spots and stuff. I was skating around, and so I was like getting lost and stuff, and I had already been writing Neckface all over my hometown or whatever. I was like, man, I gotta fucking I gotta remember where I'm at. So I did like some Indian, you know, trail tracker, whatever shit. So I'd be like writing on everything. And then I'd be like skating around the neighborhood, be like, oh, I was already over here. I was in this zone already. Oh, I know how to get back. You know, I follow my trail back and shit.
Yeah.
So that's what happened over there. And then next thing you know, people were talking about me. And
so where did you end up living in New York?
Well, first I lived on 23rd and Lexington in the dorms.
Right on.
And then I moved out of there, and then I lived in
23rd and Lexington. Was there still an Irish bar called the Glockamora there when you were there?
Is it close?
Yeah, it's real close. I think it was the closest, because I went to SVA too. That was like the closest bar you could walk to from the main building.
Yeah.
And the fucking thing was, during happy hour, they had free food. So you go in there, like, you fucking use it. You go in, like, between classes, like, eat up all nasty, greasy sausages and shit.
Yeah.
Drink a couple beers, go back to class, so on and so forth.
Yeah. But, it was there.
Right on. Nice. So you started to get recognized.
Yeah, I was like, just skating around, writing on shit.
Yeah. Like,
straight up, like, that's all I was doing, you know. And then people started like recognizing and whatever. I started having shows and being in magazines and this and that. And then it was like, why do I need to be in school?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm already doing what I want, you know,
That's a great thing to realize.
I'm doing what I'm doing,
yeah.
You know, like, why do I need to be in school? Like, for what? It's like, and then this teacher, Marilyn Minter, she's a famous artist. she was like, yeah, get out of here. She's like,
That's the best of
leave, yeah. I was like, all right, I'm out. And I fucking just took off, left school, and then I was just been doing my shit since.
Yeah. I mean, school is good for certain things and certain people, but if you have it figured out, like, it's for figuring it out. You know? And if you had already figured it out, then you could save yourself a ton of dough.
Yeah.
Hey, cheers, by the way. Forgot to do this.
Cheers.
Hey, thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
Right on.
I mean, school's good. If I went back to school, I would want to go for like computer shit.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to use a computer at all.
Really?
You know, and that's like, that doesn't like define your style, I guess. You know what I mean? Like when I was doing my paintings and shit for school, they'd be like, nah, you're doing it wrong or something. I'm like, what do you mean I'm doing it wrong? This is how I fucking paint. This is how I draw. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you know, like you want me to draw like exactly like you?
Yeah.
Like this is my style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, as far as like the stuff in school is like, I'd rather go for like some computer stuff, because you can't really be like, hey, you did that wrong. It's like, nah, you're just learning the tools. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You're not teaching style.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Yeah. The first time I became aware of you, you know, where we had our first Titmouse over in West Hollywood, Santa Monica, Fairfax, in this weird building, and my friend who had a little gallery, Marcia Goldberg, she took over our like one space for new image art. She was showing me your stuff. Like, when did you hook up with her?
My friend Rich Jacobs, who's another artist, who I used to hang out with in New York, he used to work at a thrift store, and I used to just go there and hang out with him and just straight up talk just bullshit. And he knew like all my stuff, like the shit I was doing on the streets and my actual paintings and stuff, which not a lot of people knew. They like thought I only did stuff on the street.
Yeah.
And then he was like, hey, you should have a show with this lady. Rich Jacobs hooked it up, and he warned me.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but he's like warned me. He's like, hey, I'm gonna hook you up with this lady. She's cool, but she's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
He's like, just remember that, she's fucking crazy. And I was like, all right, yeah, whatever. And then she gave me my first solo show at like 19.
Nice.
But before then, I had like a show with other artists. I was in a group show, and so she's like telling me all this stuff, and I'm like, you know, I'm a little kid, and I was like, she's like, how much you want to sell this for? And I was like, I don't know, $50 or something. You know, I didn't know, you know, like, and she's like, nah, she's like, $300. I'm like, shh. I was like, you're tripping. Like, no one's gonna pay $300 for that. Like, I didn't know. Like, I wouldn't have bought. I still don't buy anything for $300. And then, so she's like, all right, whatever, fine. No one's gonna buy your shit. And I was like, all right. And then I just kept remembering, like, she's crazy, but she's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, yeah, whatever. And then sure enough, she sells out the whole show. I was like, and it was the most money I ever seen. I was like, what the fuck? I was tripping, you know? And I didn't know anything about that whole art world, like the buyers and all that stuff, but she knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
And that's why I still mess around with her today.
Yeah, no, she knows what she's doing, that's for sure. She's, I saw that place grow, and like, she was always introducing me to like new work. She's like, oh, this is the guy I'm showing, and sure enough, like, you know, a year later, I see that person is totally blown up. So she's got a good eye. I think she's got good taste, you know.
Yeah.
She's been pretty consistent with that. So that was your first solo show, and then did your art start, like the prices start blowing up after that?
Yeah, it did. And it was like, you know, something I kind of had to like accept, because at first I was like, man, I always said I never wanted to be that dude, you know what I mean? I never wanted to be like the dude where a bunch of rich white people are walking around drinking wine, fucking looking at my shit. It's like, nah, I'm street level, you know what I mean? It's like, I want to be accessible to the kids.
Sure.
I want the local drug dealers to be able to buy my shit.
Yeah.
So it's like they started going up, and you know, it's a thing that I had to like accept, you know, but that's just the way it is. And now I just, you know, I gotta figure out other things to be more accessible to these. Like, all my fans are scumbags.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I am.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I gotta be accessible to these kids. And if you want to buy a fucking whatever $3,000-$4,000 painting, go for it. But all these kids, they want something to walk away with. You know, if it's a print, if it's a shirt.
Yeah. Well, shirts are a good way, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what you want as a kid anyway. You're not gonna hang a fucking original piece of art on your wall.
Yeah.
14 years old or something. So do you do a lot of shirts?
Not really, but I've been doing them lately.
Yeah. You like it?
Yeah, it's cool. Like I said, it's just a thing for the kids, you know.
Yeah.
My fans to, you know, take home and wear it out, go to school with it. You know, sometimes they can't have hanging babies on it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Do you like figure out like, all right? Do you have a different approach if you're doing a T-shirt design than a painting or something on the wall? Or are you like, I gotta fucking make something that somebody would actually wear, or do you just do whatever you think is cool?
I mean, it really depends. It's like sometimes it's like I've dealt with companies and shit where it's like I know exactly what they're gonna say, like, hey, you can't have this and that. So it's like sometimes you gotta dumb it down and fucking do stuff like that. But for the most part, I just do whatever I think would be cool that I would want to wear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there is some shit where it's like, man, how's a fucking 13-year-old kid, 15-year-old kid gonna wear this to school?
Yeah.
Can't have a fucking pregnant lady getting ripped open or something. You know what I mean? So it's like I kind of gotta, you know, just like tone it down a little bit or whatever. But as long as I still make my paintings, you know, how I want them to be,
Yeah.
then it's all good.
Yeah. I mean, we deal with that all the time. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I would love nothing more than make crazy fucked up cartoons all the time, but
Yeah.
sometimes you got to make the ones, you know, that actually pay the rent of the studio.
Yeah.
You know?
Gotta keep the lights on, man.
Exactly. You know.
Yeah.
So, do you have a different approach for, like, if you're designing a skate deck or something than a T-shirt or a piece of art, or what's your
Yeah, like
process there?
like with the skateboards and stuff, it's the whole thing of like figuring it out has already been like figured out. You know, it's like you could do whatever you want if you want to. It'll be sold in LA and in New York, but the whole middle country, the Bible Belt and all that shit,
Yeah.
like you don't want to mess with those. They won't even order your stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like you gotta just figure out like, you know, how to make it your style but still not too crazy, you know.
Yeah. So what do you do in those circumstances? Like, what have you done for like those Bible Belt skateboards?
I just do my stuff but as intense.
Yeah.
You know, it's a skateboard.
Yeah.
So it's gotta sell. I don't really tone it down that much, but it's like they know what they're getting into.
Sure. You started writing Neckface when you were in high school?
Yeah.
So how did you come up with that name? Is there a good story behind that?
Yeah, there is actually. This kid named Freddie. We used to call him Ring Around the Lip because he was always dirty. This little kid, he's always dirty, but he used to lick his lips all the time. Man. And then everything was dirty except for around his lips. He was just clean, like he just licked his face all the time. And then, but this dude came to my hometown from here, from LA. I don't know how the fuck he ended up over there, but he was there. And he was younger than all of us, but he knew way more than us. You know, he was exposed to way more shit. So he's like the dude that told us about like lesbians, like fucking dildos or whatever. And we were little kids. We didn't know anything. We were like, what? Like he was blowing our minds. We were like, what the fuck? No way. And
What did he tell you about lesbians? Just that they exist?
Just, yeah, exactly. Just that they exist, you know what I mean? And it was like, what? Girls could like girls? We're like, you know, we're little kids, didn't know anything. And so this dude had way more knowledge than all of us. And so we were super into kung fu movies. Like, really into kung fu movies. Like Van Damme and fucking Bruce Lee and all that shit. And so we used to watch a lot of kung fu movies, and we got violent. Like, from watching those, we were beating up kids in the neighborhood and shit. And then we had beef with certain people or this and that, whatever. And this kid Freddie, every time would say neck. He'd be like, he could have been like saying like, man, I'm gonna punch him in the face, I'm gonna punch him in the back of the head or something, but he would always say neck. He'd be like, man, I'm gonna kick that dude in the neck. I'm gonna punch him in his neck. Like, just neck. Kept saying that, and I was like, I would die. I would just be laughing the whole time. Every time he said that. That's where the neck part came from. When I decided to do graffiti, I was like, all right, I already know the ropes. Like, my older brothers do graffiti, like traditional graffiti, you know?
Yeah.
So I already knew like the rules where you got to pick a name that no one has. You can't copy no one's name, like this and that. And I was like, man, I was like, when I wanted to do it, I was like, I gotta come up with a name that no one's ever gonna think of, like, ever. I was like, I gotta come up with something. And so the neck part came up, and then I was like, all right, neck face, it's impossible. You can't have a neck on your face, you know, or it's just a neck, you know, like, you can't have a face on your neck, and then it's just like a face neck or something, you know? So it's like, that's where that came from, and then, yeah, that's how I got that. And then when I first started writing it down, I was just cracking up laughing. Just reading that, I was laughing, you know?
Yeah.
I was putting that up all over the place because that was funny to me. And then that stopped being funny to me, so I had to keep it funny. That's all I wanted to do was just make people laugh.
Yeah.
So I started writing all these crazy fucking quotes and shit.
So you never tried out anything else? You went straight for Neckface and stuck with it?
Yeah.
Right on. That's cool. And how was it received?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found it memorable when I first saw it. I'm trying to think if I heard of you through Marcia first, or if I saw somewhere between like Fairfax and La Brea, like on a power box or a telephone box, it said something about, it was one of your sayings, something about Neckface. It was like, Neckface is something, or something Neckface.
It's ugly?
Maybe that's it, Neckface is
Yeah.
ugly. Yeah. I don't know if you
Yeah,
if you remember that one. Well, yeah, I figured you did. But yeah, I can't remember if I saw that first and then Marcia hit me to who you were, or if Marcia.
Yeah, I just try to get all the insults out of the way before anyone else could get them.
Yeah.
It's like,
oh, that's a good philosophy.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you're fat. I've been saying that for years, man.
Yeah.
You're late.
Yeah.
I already been saying that. And then with the whole thing too, I love when people shit talk.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. Like, a lot of people catch feelings and shit. They're like, man, that's messed up. They said that about me. It's like, nah. Like, I'd rather read that shit than the positive comments.
Sure.
You know, it's like, I got 4 brothers. All we did all day was talk shit on each other.
So all your brothers are at the tire shop?
They were, yeah.
Yeah.
They were. Some of them are still there.
Right on.
But yeah.
Did you spend a lot of time there growing up?
I did, actually. And I could say that's kind of maybe my first job. Not really.
Yeah.
I never had a job ever. Yeah. But I used to have to sweep the floors and shit for like $5 for the whole day. All the little kid.
I used to work at a garage when I was in high school. It was a weird scene because it was in New Jersey, where it's still illegal to have like self-serve pumps. Mm-hmm. So I was like a gas station attendant, and people would be driving through, going from like New York to Philly, and they'd like try to put gas in their car, and I had to like stop them, and they'd get fucking pissed off at me like multiple times a day. People would get, because I'd be like, I can't let you put gas in your car, and they were confused by it. So it was a weird gig. but hung around with a lot of mechanics and weird dudes.
Yeah.
This one old guy had me he's like, you go to art stores and shit? And I was like, yeah, man. And he's like, can you get me one of those X-Acto blade sets? And I brought it for him. He's like, yeah, I got like cancer in my foot, but I don't want to go to the doctor. I don't have insurance, so I'm going to cut it out myself. This guy's a gnarly fucking dude. You know, he's like, I don't know. He seemed like he was in his 80s, but he was probably like in his 50s. You know, like, yeah. I know you're also a fan of like one of my favorite like musical artists. The first show I ever went to when I was 14, I snuck out of the house because my mom wouldn't let me go because it was devil music, was King Diamond.
Yeah.
So
the King.
Yeah. So you have anything to say about King Diamond?
It's like when I found King Diamond, Merciful Fate.
Yeah.
It was on.
Yeah.
That was it. It was like, all right, you know, it was like one of those things where it's like the search is over.
Yeah.
I don't gotta look anymore. You know, so it was like, yeah, when I found that, I was like, dude, it's on. Like,
do you have a favorite, for people who aren't familiar with King Diamond, you got any favorite albums, favorite songs, anything like that?
I've got Devil Eyes, Sleepless Nights, Curse of the Pharaohs.
I painted the Curse of the Pharaohs on the back of a like jean jacket vest when I was in high school.
No way. Was the sleeves cut off?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was he like this and then it had the lyrics on it?
No, it was just the cover. It was just the cover of Curse of the Pharaohs.
Oh.
Yeah. Why did you do
Because I got name drop. I got that girl Chloe Sevigny, the actress.
Oh yeah.
She gave me a jacket.
Yeah.
That her ex-boyfriend gave her, and it was a hand-painted fucking Merciful Fate painting on the back of a jean jacket.
Holy shit.
And it had the King, and it had all the other band members like in the squares, and then the lyrics, like all like acrylic. That's why I was tripping. I was like,
that would have been a coincidence.
Yeah, do I have your fucking jacket? But I still got it. It's fucking sick.
Nice.
She gave it to me.
Is it time to switch? That's the switch alarm.
All right, we're back.
Yeah. All right, man. So where did we leave off? We drank, we peed. We're back to drawing pictures again. So hey, did you realize that it's Friday the 13th?
I woke up. I woke up ready.
Yeah.
This is my holiday. It's basically my birthday.
Yeah. So do you have a ritual you perform on?
I mean, it's like for a lot of people, shit goes bad. For me, everything goes good.
Yeah.
So it's like today, my friend, like, we were driving to the warehouse. He almost got in a car accident. I was like, Friday the 13th.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, better watch out.
Yeah.
And then my other friend stepped in gum. I was like, that's Friday the 13th. So it's like, you know.
It's cool. Stepping gum doesn't seem so bad. But
yeah.
Of things that can happen to you, stepped in gum seems pretty tame.
Yeah, this dude was mad though.
Yeah.
I was like, Friday the 13th, that's what happened.
Did he have like beautiful shoes? Like
he actually did have brand new shoes.
Really?
Yeah. But yeah, Friday the 13th is fucking. A lot of people take that shit bad. That's just all good to me.
And it was Friday the 13th last month too.
Yep.
That's the thing, is because February was like, you know, it's exactly 4 weeks, then March has the same dates. That's I don't know if that always happens or what, that there's two Friday the 13th. It seems unlikely in a year. I don't know what the statistic, we're gonna have to look that up.
Yeah.
The
Friday the 13th though, the was it last year or something? But it was Friday the 13th with the full moon.
Really?
Yep. And that ain't gonna happen again till 2049.
Did anything good happen that day?
Hell yeah, I can't talk about it. But yeah.
All right, confidential.
Classified
information happens on Friday the 13th.
Like on the back of the G.I. Joe cards.
Yeah.
It was like, occupation, classified.
So were you a fan of the Friday the 13th movies as a kid or anything?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Jason was sick.
Yeah. I love the way
Jason Voorhees.
he would just walk slow. Or he had a kind of fast-paced walk, but he never ran.
No matter how fast you ran, he would catch up to your ass walking.
It's true.
He's in the new Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
And he's in the new Mortal Kombat.
He's in the new Mortal Kombat. I just saw that today, too. And yeah, it's like, you can fucking run as fast as you can. He motherfucker could turn around a tree and catch your ass.
It's true.
He's like, but I had a friend who actually broke up with a chick because of Freddy versus Jason.
Really?
Yeah. He was like, asked her like who won, and she was like, Jason won.
Really?
And then he was like, get the fuck out of my house. Because we're all Freddy fans. And he seriously was like, get out. And she was like, what? Like, wrong answer. So he kicked her out for fucking backing Jason over Freddy.
So do you subscribe to that? Are you a Freddy guy?
Yeah, I'm a Freddy guy for sure.
Is that influenced by your friend Freddy, who coined the phrase neck?
Nah. I like Freddy because there's no escape.
Yeah.
You can't get away from him.
That's true.
You know, like, as soon as you fall asleep, everyone goes to sleep. As soon as you fall asleep, he's there, waiting for you.
It's got a pretty good sweater, too,
Yep.
I gotta say. But then G.I. Joe, you mentioned the G.I. Joe packages.
Yeah.
Was that something it influenced you?
That's my most favorite. Like, I love G.I. Joe, man. Like,
Yeah.
G.I. Joe's the sickest cartoon. A lot of people were like, man, I used to love fucking He-Man. I used to love Transformers or whatever. And then you watch that shit now as a grown man.
Yeah.
You're like, what is this? You know, you're like, this isn't as exciting as it was when I was younger. You know, so it's like, and then G.I. Joe is like, that shit is still going. Like, you know, you're like, yes, just super psyched, you know?
That opening to that movie is sick, dude.
Yeah.
They're fucking
Statue of Liberty
around the Statue of Liberty and shit. That's still insane. You look at that and you're like, motherfucker, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
To pull that
all
off.
those balloons and
Yeah,
shit.
exactly. It's nuts.
That shit is tight. When I was younger, my dad would wake me up and at like 6 in the morning. We'd go to the flea market. He'd give me $10, and he'd be like, "Whatever, I'll find you." And I had $10, and I was like, "What the fuck am I gonna buy?" And I was like looking around at all this shit, and I was like, "Man," I was like, "I'm gonna fucking buy every G.I. Joe I had."
Yeah.
Before I fucking blew them up. You know, because I would blow them up, bury them, just like annihilate them. But yeah, that was my mission, and I ended up getting every single G.I. Joe.
Do you still have them?
Yep.
Nice. I blew up a lot of shit too and lit it on fire. It seemed to be something, it's a common thing to do with like kids. I always, I guess that's like something all kids do. They get obsessed with fire and blowing shit up, and I remember melting a lot of fucking guys. I remember taking a bunch of Star Wars guys and Smurfs and shit and like pouring paint on them and lighting them on fire. And then my friends and I all felt like our fucking lungs hurt afterwards. We all breathed in. It had this like yellow, green smoke that came out of it. And as a kid, you don't think like, oh, maybe I should get away from this yellow-green smoke and not breathe it into my lungs. But you don't have that experience yet.
That's like your first experience of being yourself. Like, I created that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I'm down. I like that.
So what did that dude Freddy look like? The one, not the famous movie guy.
He's just a little Mexican kid.
Yeah.
Little Mexican kid. Dirty as fuck, clean around the lips.
Yeah.
Ring around the lips.
Do you have any like art influences? Like, was it your brothers? Was it other graffiti guys? Was it like comics? Was it G.I. Joe shit?
I mean, I've been drawing forever, you know what I mean? There wasn't no like thing where I'm like, damn, I'm gonna start drawing. because of something, you know. But as far as influences, I would say bathroom graffiti.
Yeah.
For sure, because it's like, you know, they're not writing like, hey, for a free blowjob, fucking hit up, blah blah blah. Like they ain't doing that they're just doing that because they want to. One of my favorite influences is Charles Adams.
Right on.
Which is, you know, he's an illustrator.
Yeah.
Not a artist or something, you know what I mean?
Did you have a favorite bathroom graffiti artist? Do you remember anything specific of like, I used to take a shit in this one stall and this one dude was hilarious?
Kinda. There was this dude in SF, like when we'd go to San Francisco, which is like an hour and a half from where I'm from.
Man.
There's this dude that used to write Tom Mosh everywhere. Just like the worst handwriting.
Yeah.
Just Tom Mosh everywhere. That was a big influence on me, just seeing that everywhere, you know what I mean? It wasn't like a graffiti thing, it wasn't nothing, it was just like a dude writing his name, Tom Mosh, like really bad.
What was it like? Did it look like a 5-year-old wrote it or something?
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's pretty good. Do you look at any art these days? You got anybody you like that's doing art?
No.
In the current world? No.
Nah.
Right on. That's a good attitude.
I mean,
Don't get influenced.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to. I don't like anything. You know, I like that shit don't make sense to me. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you painting a whole fucking canvas blue, and you're saying it means something about like terrorists or some shit. It's like, what are you talking about?
All right, how about this one? You have any current artists that you don't like? You think are shitty or fucking not good somehow?
I ain't gonna name no names, but I hate political art.
Yeah.
Or people that are like super political.
Like
It's
political cartoonists or like people who think they're fancy pants
cartoonists or like people that are like, I'm gonna change the world, Obama this, Obama that. Your fucking screen print, it ain't gonna do anything.
Yeah.
Your drawing is not, you know, is not like, it's not gonna do anything. Give it up. You know what I mean? You ain't changing the world with a fucking drawing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I just don't. I don't like that stuff. It's like, I mean, I never voted anyway, so.
So you're not gonna go
Didn't
out and
matter.
try and fucking do the next presidential candidate's campaign poster?
Hell
That's
no.
not on your
But I'll tell
goal
you
of,
what.
of things to hit.
This is what happens is my mom called me. She's like, yeah, taxes is gonna charge you for this.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I'll pay the fine. I'll pay what I gotta pay.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get my money's worth. I'm gonna take it out on the city.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna get my money's worth. Like, taxes is supposed to pay for that shit anyways, right?
Sure.
Like, if you damage something or whatever, like, taxes is gonna pay for that. They're like, oh, our taxes are paying for that. It's like, yeah, my taxes that I just paid, I'm getting my money's worth. I'm gonna burn down bus stops, anything to get my money back. At least get my money's worth.
Yeah.
Like, okay, here, you want a couple thousand for taxes? Whatever, fine, here you go. But I'm gonna get my money's worth. I'm gonna take it out on the city. I'm gonna put that tax money to work.
And how'd that work out?
It's working.
Yeah.
Mentally.
Yeah.
I don't know about the payday,
Yeah.
but in my head, I'm like, okay, I'll pay what you want me to pay. But I'm gonna get my money's worth. Better watch out.
So, do you still go out and write a lot? Is that still part of your thing?
Yeah, not as much out here though,
Yeah.
cause it ain't worth it out here.
Yeah.
But I save it for traveling.
Why do you say it's not worth it out here?
Everything's gonna get buffed in
Oh yeah, they're on top of that.
A day or two.
Yeah.
And then if you get caught, it's a felony.
Gotcha.
I save it for when I travel, and then when I'm traveling, I'm so juiced up. I'm like, go wild on the city, wherever I'm at.
I've been over to Black a couple of times.
Yeah.
Right. So you want to talk about that? How'd that come about?
So basically, we used to all hang out at this bar called the Dark Room, and we made the Dark Room famous, pretty much.
Yeah.
Or like popular or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was all of us skateboarders.
Yeah.
You know, so we would all hang out there, and we didn't know fucking who owned it, whatever. We knew the bartenders and shit.
Yeah.
Beth and Shannon. So we would go to Dark Room, and Dark Room. We'd have after parties there, this and that there. We'd be giving this bar all our money and having parties there and shit and giving them money and shit. And then turns out the main dude who owns Dark Room was just like, we got to get rid of these fucking skateboarders.
Really?
Yeah, just like, we got to get rid of these guys, like, you know. And then we were like, what the fuck? Like, we made your bar your bar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we made this place. Like, whatever, not like tooting my own horn, but yeah, we fucking made that place what it was. And then so the girls bounced, the managers, they took off, and those are like my really good friends, and they were like, we're gonna open up our own bar. And at the time, I had just got paid from Nike, because I did some shit for Nike, and I'd got paid a crazy amount of money, which I still am not ready to accept. Not accept, but like, I don't know what the fuck to do with this much money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was like, what the fuck do I do with this shit? I was like, I was scared. I was scared that I was gonna blow it. Just like, not blow it like buying fucking fancy things, or, you know, just like I was scared that I was just gonna live, pay rent, this and that, whatever, buy food and shit, and then the money just disappears.
Yeah.
So I was like scared. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna fucking invest into the bar.
Nice.
So I was like, get this fucking money away from me. It's like, here, take it. So I invested it into the bar, and the bar's been doing good since, and we're killing it.
Yeah, you know, I gotta say, I found out about the bar, and I think maybe JJ over there told me about it. And what was fucking great is this walking distance from here.
Yeah.
You know, like I've walked
Stumbling
over
distance.
there. I don't know, I've been over there about 3 times, and he was like, yeah, it's on Santa Monica, just east of Vine. So I gotta say, I expected it to be a shithole, right? Because that neighborhood is not known for bars that aren't shitholes, and it's fucking nice, dude.
Yeah.
That bar's really nice.
Yeah.
So how did that come about? Was that an existing bar? Did you guys have to fix it up? What happened?
It was an existing bar, but we definitely fucking had to fix it up.
Yeah. So how did that process go? Like, as an artist, did you fucking have thoughts on how you wanted it to like aesthetically look or something?
I mean, I left it up to the girls. They were like, we want some art on the wall.
Yeah.
Eventually, and I was like, all right. So I fucking curated the shit on the walls, put stuff on the walls, and you know, it's 2 girls that are the main owners.
Yeah.
So it's like, whatever they say goes. And
Nice.
I'm down.
And
But,
you like being involved with that?
Yeah, for sure.
So do you get free booze every time?
Yeah,
Nice.
which is good and
Is it good and bad? I bet.
and bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Oh, I know what you mean. For sure. Like, did that ever influence you in a bad way? Like, get like super blackout, fucking fucked up?
as much as I've been there, maybe 75% of the time, I don't remember going home.
But you've woken up at home, so
I've woken up at home and I've woken up there.
Yeah, that's great. Are there other people there when you wake up?
Yeah, and then the owner's like, we can't say nothing to him. He's the owner.
So what made that location the one that you wanted to open, or did you leave that up to the girls?
Yeah, that was the girls thing.
Yeah,
but it was like
it's fucking smart, dude. That's an up and coming area.
Yeah. It's Hollywood, straight up Hollywood.
Yeah,
West Hollywood, just Hollywood.
So how far away is that from Gold Diggers? You know Gold Diggers?
Yep. Yeah. It ain't that far.
Yeah.
Gold Diggers!
Yeah.
They got midgets on Tuesday or something.
What? Really?
Yeah. They got midgets on like Tuesday.
All right. Well, maybe Tuesday I'll swing by Black and then we'll head over to Gold Diggers. So what do you look to as like the future of your career? Do you have like plans of what you want to do?
Man, if I could do what I'm doing right now forever, I'm chilling.
All right. So it's good. You're in a pretty good spot then.
Yeah.
Most
I mean,
people-
if someone wants to throw a bunch of bread at me or something, I'm still going to be doing, like, I've had girls come over my place, and I live in a garage pretty much. Right, JJ?
It's hot.
I live in a hot garage. And
Like girls.
yeah, and then it's like girls would be over there and then be like, don't you ever want to move out of here or something? I'm like, man, if I had the most money ever, I'd still be living in a situation like this. Like, I don't know what to do with a big ass mansion. You know, like, I don't want to live in the hills. Like, if you live in the hills, you're like, you know, go home and you're like, shit, I forgot the toilet paper. All right, it's another fucking 25 minutes down the hill to fucking pick up toilet paper. Or
So
else you got to get an old t-shirt or something.
You like being in the thick of it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a lot of space? Is that your studio as well?
Yeah.
So you got space to do art and stuff there?
Yeah, I do all my painting stuff there. And then I got a bigger studio in Culver City.
Oh, right on.
That's where I do all like my metal stuff.
So what are you painting nowadays? Like, what kind of art are you making these days?
What am I making right now?
And what's taking up your time?
All the metal stuff.
Yeah? Tell me about that.
The metal stuff is shit that I do in Culver City. I got a plasma cutter, I got a welder. Yeah, it's just hands-on, man. Getting your hands dirty and just like, you know, like I always feel weird, like when people hit me up like, hey, we're gonna go do this. I'm like, damn, I gotta stay home. I gotta paint this picture. You know, I feel like such a fucking nerd.
Yeah.
Like when I'm just at home and I'm just like, man, I gotta paint this and this and this and this. And I'm like, you know, it's work, but it's not. You ain't sweating, you ain't getting hurt or getting lit on fire or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, when I go to the studio and do metal work, it's like, that to me is like real work.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm like getting burned, I'm like, whatever, doing stuff on metal and, you know, sweating and all that stuff, like just, you know, actually like working.
Yeah.
It's like an actual job.
My father-in-law is like, he's a sculptor that makes like big metal sculptures and shit. Like he got lucky, man. He like in the 70s like got into like Tribeca when it was a fucking piece of shit, like Escape from New York style stuff, and bought like into this building, and now it's like crazy rich people that live there. But he still like he's like 80 years old now and he still does like welding and stuff. He's pretty nuts. Pretty cool. So I've seen a lot of that like kind of crazy metal welding gear and stuff.
Yeah.
Both of my brother-in-laws are into that actually. My wife Shannon, she escaped. She's like, I don't want to work for my dad. You know, I guess it's similar to your tire shop thing. It's like,
Yeah.
she just wanted to get out. She's like, I don't know if I could fucking work for my dad. She did it for one summer, like worked at a foundry, like pouring like hot metal into molds and shit. She was like, I don't want to be I don't want to do this shit, you know. If I get it, it feels like sometimes, you know, I talk about this with the other guys in the studio, right? Making cartoons, it's like some of my job now is like I go to so many fucking meetings and talk to people, and it doesn't feel like it's a real thing. Like there's nothing that results in it, you know, other than like, I guess maybe eventually maybe a cartoon will get made. But whenever I get to sit down and draw, at least there's a fucking product at the end of it. There's a fucking physical thing that exists, you know. It's like I talked to Antonio, you know, you meet Antonio, the French guy, works with us.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so we talk about that. It's like, you know, it's like, oh, I actually got to work today. You know, when you feel like you drew and you got something accomplished, it's like going to meetings and fucking producering and shit never feels like it's work. Like it never feels like you actually did anything.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And I guess with like metal work and welding and shit,
get that sweat going.
So. Yeah, exactly.
What about, what are your favorite cartoons?
Man, besides the ones we make, it's like I don't get to. You know, I gotta say it's a.
You can't say any of the ones you guys.
I know. That's the thing. Here's the fucking truth that sucks, right? I got into this industry because I loved cartoons so much, and now it fucking is hard to watch cartoons because it reminds me of work, and I just sit there and I analyze like, how did they fucking do that, or like I would have done that differently and shit. So it's really fucking hard for me to watch. I like old cartoons because I don't think about that. Like I love the Bakshi cartoons. I think his fucking Lord of the Rings is far superior to the Peter Jackson one, even though that one looks amazing. It's like the main character is a pussy, and in Bakshi's he's like a badass. He wants to fucking kill all the fucking orcs or whatever they are. I love Coonskin. I know that's controversial, but I think that thing is like the sweet back of cartoons, you know. I mean, I like some cartoons. I like Rick and Morty. I think it's pretty funny. That's a pretty good one. You know, I don't know. As far as kids' cartoons, I think there's some cool shit. I like that Over the Garden Wall. I think that was pretty cool. There's a lot of cartoons to look at these days. You know, there's a lot of...
Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack is one of JJ's favorites. He never shuts up about it.
That's one of my favorites too.
Yeah, it's a good one.
That
Yeah.
like I love Dexter's Lab.
Yeah.
And then he made Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
And then when he made Samurai Jack, he was like, I ain't doing no outlines.
Yeah.
You know,
no,
all the
true.
characters didn't have outlines.
Yeah.
So that hyped me up to do my painting and stuff.
Yeah.
I would do outlines on all my characters.
Yeah.
And then Samurai Jack, I was like, damn, that shit looks cool. So I started doing my paintings with no outlines. You know, I wouldn't outline the outer thing. I'd just do like, you know, the eyes and the mouth and whatever, but I wouldn't outline it. It would just keep it like just raw like that, and it looks sick.
Yeah. Kenny, you know, he's got fucking great taste, and I gotta say, he doesn't put up with bullshit, right? Because I remember I was working at Cartoon Network after he wrapped up Samurai Jack, and then he did all those Star Wars cartoons, right? Which are pretty much like Samurai Jack versions of Star Wars, right? So then Lucas was like, come up to fucking, you know, San Francisco or the fucking Lucas Ranch where I'm starting my new Star Wars cartoon thing. And they threw a big party for him when he left. And he's leaving Cartoon Network to go up to work on Star Wars, right? Which is like everybody's fucking childhood, like jack-off dream. It's like fucking he could make all the new Star Wars shit, cartoon-wise. And then 2 weeks later, he was back. And we were like, what the fuck happened with Gendy? And basically, Lucas wanted to fucking control everything. And he was like, fuck that. And then just yesterday, I read he jumped off of that Popeye movie because they wanted to, who knows what. I mean, he was real nice in that press release or whatever, but I bet they were not letting him make it cool. It probably was coming out less than what he wanted it or whatever. So I give him a lot of props for like, just whatever, I'm getting out of this situation. Because, you know, that Star Wars shit, I bet, you know, that's got to be hard to turn down, you know. Oh, look at this. That's the signal to the end of our shit. So thanks for sitting around and bullshitting and drawing pictures on this tongue and pencil Neckface. You have anything you want to plug or anything?
Oh yeah, come to the bar.
Yeah.
6202 Santa Monica Boulevard.
There you go. And maybe you'll be there. Maybe you'll be passed out on the ground.
I'll be there sleeping.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it.
Chirp.